Welcome to this video that introduces the new web-hosted GST return functionality available as part of the APS NZ Tax August 2019 release. For many years, GST return preparation has been available as part of the NZ Tax desktop product. Access to a client's GST returns is found within APS Practice Management's client console using the GST returns band. Completed GST returns can be forwarded to the APS eFile application for lodgement to IRD. Displayed here is an example of a taxpayer with GST returns going back a number of years. With the August 2019 release, a new console page is present in the GST returns console, named Web Returns. Let's quickly add the new page to our custom layout. The new Web GST Returns page has rows displayed for tax years from 2017 onward. At present, there are no Web GST returns present for this taxpayer. Let's go take a look at the web application. Double-clicking a row in the Web GST Returns page launches the APS web app with the tax year context chosen. If you haven't been logged into any APS web app for a while, you'll be prompted to log in. Before continuing on to the web application. The first time the application loads for the client that you've chosen, there are a number of validations performed. In this case, a couple of client attributes are missing, so we'll click the Client Settings button to go and fill them in. You can see the client details that were uploaded from the desktop application. Identity type and provisional tax calculation method need to be filled in. For entity type, we'll choose Trust, and for the provisional tax calculation method, we'll choose Writ Uplift. The GST period month's duration is currently set to 2, but for this example, we'll set it to 6. Okay, all the details we need for the client are now set up, so we'll return to the GST returns. The 2018 tax year that we chose from the desktop console is still defaulted here, and we can see that there are placeholders for 2 GST return periods of 6 months, but at present these returns don't exist. Okay, we'll go and create one of these returns and see what happens. Okay, clicking on the button creates an empty shell return and then connects to the IRD to look for information that they might be able to provide us. In this case, these returns have already been filed, so it's retrieving those existing returns and populating our GST return page. As it goes through the various actions, connecting to IRD, it updates this panel on the right hand side where we get the interactions that are occurring. In this example, the IRD status that was returned tells us it has been submitted, so the return is no longer editable but can be viewed. All information retrieved from IRD must be authenticated. In this example, you can see I've already logged into IRD. The first time you connect to make any call to IRD, there is a login process where your MyIR credentials must be entered. In the GST return that we display in the web page, we have a calculation tab and a summary tab. There is also a transactions tab available, which presents TDS transaction information. Looking at the periods bar now, you can see we have an icon indicating that this GST return has been completed and lodged, whereas this return is yet to be created. Let's just go through the entire process so you can see what happens. We create the empty shell, we connect to ID and retrieve the status. The status tells us that this return has been lodged previously, so instead of opening the return for editing, we fetch the completed return and save it into our GST return. Another feature that we have is from the client page, we can retrieve GST filing obligations This tells us the most up-to-date information that IID has on what returns have yet to be filed. Clicking on this button connects to IID, retrieves the information, and then displays it. We can now click on the displayed row to connect to that particular GST return. In this case, it doesn't exist, so it's creating a new empty shell and now connecting to IID to retrieve the status information. As we can see, it was overdue, and as a draft return, we also retrieve what's known as pre-pop information. Now we can complete the return and get ready to lodge it. We move to the Summary tab, and we can click the Ready for Approval button to complete the entry. The return is saved and the status information is also recorded, and now we have the option of either approving the return or rejecting the return if further action is required. If we're happy to approve the return, we do that now, and the status is again updated saying that it has been approved and now it is ready to be lodged. We lodge the return to IID. Get information back saying it was successfully lodged, and the return is saved with its lodged status and is no longer editable. Back in the desktop GST console, we can refresh the page and the web returns information is updated. Now you can see that the individual returns for the particular tax years are displayed with the return status that we have and also the IID status information. Now that we have information on existing returns, we can connect to them directly. You can see that the GST return that we chose from the desktop has been connected to directly. That completes the web-hosted GST returns video. Thank you.